Dear friends in Dhamma, we are going to start the last Dhamma discussion of this Kalalgoda retreat. So we have received a couple of questions, and I'll invite Chandrika to start with the written questions.
Avasara Bante, we have received 2 reports, but each has few questions. Report number 1, Theruvan Saranai Bante. Kindly explain the difference between Sati Sampajanna and Samma Samadhi.
Yeah, quite different. Now, you're asking completely different things, how to say. Now, mindfulness we first understand. So, mindfulness, generally we can say our mind typically is distracted and lingering in the past and the future. So, we need to bring it to the present moment. So, that present moment establishment is something necessary. And so, that is what we are trying to do in the establishment of mindfulness. So, we are using that. In order to do that, we are using various methods. So that bodily phenomena, feelings, our thoughts, all can be used in order to establish mindfulness. And again, the mindfulness has some relationship with memory also, where we are trying to keep the mind in the present moment. That's in a way going through always as a memory. So that is the task, that is the object that we are targeting, but keep on forgetting that. That means lack of mindfulness. So in one sense, we can say the mindfulness has to remind us, okay, you got to be here. You got to be in the present moment. You got to be in the present phenomena without lingering in the past and the future. And that is that reminder, that remembrance has to happen again and again. So then mindfulness, as we are developing, okay, with the present phenomena, mind starts to stay with. And as we are going through it, then the concentration also develops. That means mind starts remaining in the present moment and on the selected object. So we have given a selected object, and in that, okay, mind remains without being distracted. Now, when that is fairly possible, now we are introducing the sampajanya, the clear comprehension into the picture. That means, okay, now whatever the phenomena that we are keeping our attention has to be properly investigated, clearly comprehended. So it is not mere superficial observation, rather we are sort of penetratively looking at it. So details, subtle details are able to recognize. So there we say, okay, now clearly comprehended. Mindfulness has coupled with the sampajanya, sati has coupled with sampajanya, mindfulness has coupled with clear comprehension. So mindfully, clearly comprehended on the present phenomena. Now, Samma Samadhi is quite different. Now, when we are progressing, say you are continuing your practice and you are again and again observing various phenomena, and now if we are talking from the Vipassana point of view, so various phenomena are quickly arising, quickly passing away, but we have to maintain our attention on each and every phenomena very quickly. Until they persist, we have to maintain that attention, maintain our attention, focused attention onto that phenomena without any distraction. So then we can say the mind has the necessary amount of samadhi, the concentration. So this is, we can define this as samma samadhi, but more than that, there's a better definition given in the Mahachattarisa Sutta. So there Buddha mentioned, so when someone is developing continuously, say a fair amount of mindfulness, fair amount of concentration and this wisdom, assume that through Satipatthana practice, say you come to a level where the phenomena are recognized as their impermanent nature, suffering nature, unsatisfactory nature, and then you are able to let go of everything and keep the mind in an unattached state. Now here actually we can say all other path factors become fairly balanced, have to be balanced. At the beginning we can't do it. At the beginning sometimes we fall asleep, sometimes we get distracted, sometimes a lot of thoughts come in, sometimes doubts are there. So many issues are there at the beginning. So we can't maintain a very balanced equilibrium in the mind. But later you understand, okay, this is the way I need to handle it. Through your own errors you are learning. And then you are understanding, okay, this is the way I need to balance it. Okay, this is the understanding you are maintaining. With that understanding, you are anyway maintaining a proper sila. Now that is well balanced. All the path factors are well aligned, properly balanced. Then we call it as Samma Samadhi. So that's the definition Buddha gives in the Mahachattāriksa Sutta of the Majjhima Nikāya. All previous 7 path factors are well aligned, well balanced. Then mind has to experience an equipoise. Your mind is a well balanced mind. No extremes, no tensions, no worries, no elations even. I mean, you are not extremely happy either. So you are in a well balanced state of mind. So that is the Samma Samadhi Buddha explained in the Mahachattāriksa Sutta. That's a fairly advanced way of looking at it. So I believe, therefore, Samma Samadhi, when we are defined, so we better go ahead with this kind of a definition. So it is not merely that you are keeping your attention on the phenomena. That is also Samadhi. That is also needs certain amount of balance. But that is in a, not advanced like what we discussed just now. So for us to have a proper Samma Samadhi, so the right concentration, it has to be well supported from right samadhi, right view, the correct view. That is the wisdom part. So that wisdom we are developing through the practice. So that wisdom is now available. That wisdom maintains the mind's balance. At the same time, you are having support coming through your own sila. And sila, samadhi and panya is well balanced. So the whole mind is well in equipoise. Then we call, okay, it's a Samma Samadhi.
Second part, is it only an Arahant is able to achieve and stay in a state of Nirodha Samapatti? What is the insight gained by achieving Nirodha Samapatti? Much merit to you.
I'll give an answer which is, I think it's based in the information coming in the commentary. I couldn't find it in the canon, but maybe in the commentary. So according to the commentators, either one has to attain anagami or arahantship. That is from the Vipassana point of view. That is from the Panya point of view. On the other hand, one has to have all capacity in the 8 jhanas. So then only he can maintain oneself in the Nirodha Samapatti for a long period of time. So one thing is your wisdom aspect. That is either one has to be in anagami or arahat. Other side is the samatha aspect. One has to have 8 jhanas fairly available. So that means you have both capacities. Then only you can stay in the Nirodha Samapatti in a comprehensive way. So with respect to arahants, this may be true. Now say for example, if we consider the fully enlightened beings, that means arahant, typically 2 categories are there in the suttas. One category is called Upato Bhaga Vimutta. Upato Bhaga Vimutta means this both capacities are there with those arahants. So they have the Panya Vimutta aspects, that means completely all the asavas are abandoned, all the defilements are abandoned, raga, dosa, moha completely uprooted. That is the wisdom aspect. At the same time, they have the capacity to maintain their mind in the jhana, in the concentration. So Upato Bhaga Vimutta means, so from the both sides, they are well skilled, well freed, and therefore they have both capacities. But there are another group, another arahants called merely Panya Vimutta. So they don't have even the Arupa Dhyanas. They don't have much of concentration practice, but defilements are completely uprooted. So you can refer Susima Sutta, if you like, where a complete account of information is there. So one monk even was doubtful whether they are really arahants, because they don't have any of the psychic powers. No Pubbe Nivasa Anusati Jnana, no Parato what's that? Parato Chitta Vijanana, Parachitta Vijanana Jnana, or no any other psychic powers. They don't even have higher concentrations like Arupa Jhana. So how can they be arahants? then they simply say, okay, we have attained fully enlightened through wisdom. Panya Vimutta. It's possible. So Buddha also explained that. So the Susima himself became one of them. So that's the interesting part. So when Buddha was explaining that, he himself has become a Panya Vimutta Arahant. So then he himself is an example for that category. He had a doubt about it, but now he is one Arahant of Panya Vimutta. So these two categories are there with respect to Arahants. And even with the Anagamis, there are different categories. I can't remember all exact names. But anyway, certain aspect of Samadhi is a must. So we don't have to have a kind of wrong view thinking, okay, Samadhi is not necessary at all. That's wrong. So as we are continuing, so Samadhi has to be an available fact. It is not that you are trying to develop, but it is an inherent characteristic. It has to become very much like an inherent characteristic of the mind. Rather than, now if you recognize your own practice, if you consider your own practice, at the beginning it's a completely distracted mind. So we all had that, right? So it's continuously distracting to the past, to the future, to the sounds, to the smells, taste, what we have seen, to the thoughts, utter mess. But later we are again and again practicing. So that has made the mind fairly firm, stable, and wherever we want to keep it, okay, now it is staying there. So that capacity that we have developed. So later, as we are further developing mindfulness and the Vipassana, so that capacity, what we have gained, has to be something available to us. It is not that we abandon Samadhi. Samadhi is an inherent characteristic of the mind now. So therefore, as one is progressing, so Samadhi is not something that we let go of. Rather, Samadhi is something now the mind already has. It is an inherent characteristic of the mind. So you don't have to spend hours to develop Samadhi. Rather, Samadhi is there. Similarly, the mindfulness. Mindfulness is there. Not with much effort, but mindfulness is inherently available, effortlessly available. So this way we can say, okay, mindfulness, Samadhi, concentration, all these have become one available characteristics of the mind. And then we are further progressing with the wisdom. Because still not enough wisdom is available. That's why again and again we get deluded. Wisdom has to be further developed.
Report number 2. Avasarai Bante. This has 3 parts, Bante. My questions are with reference to yesterday's sermon. After the sermon, I had so many questions, maybe due to the interpretation and understanding of mine is wrong. Question 1. From Dveda Vitakka Sutta yesterday Bante mentioned that Lord Buddha advises us to eradicate unwholesome thoughts, which is understood, but also wholesome thoughts as well as Dhamma thoughts. However, Bante, I've heard when achieving Nibbana, the one mind moment of inverted comma Margasita, one needs to have all the 8 factors in the eightfold path, which is Samma Sankappa is one of them. Is Samma Sankappa and the wholesome thoughts Bante mentioned yesterday are different to each other?
Yeah, very good question. So, Samma Sankappa and the wholesome thoughts, are they the same or different? Now, Samma Sankappa. Now, typically we define Samma Sankappa as Nekkamma Sankappa, Vyapada Sankappa, Vihinsa Sankappa. So at the beginning we are purposely developing them because the opposite is available, again and again coming and disturbing. You have Kama Sankappa, Vihinsa Sankappa, Vyapada Sankappa. So in order to avoid that, you are developing the opposite, Nekkamma Sankappa, Avihinsa Sankappa, and Avyapada Sankappa. So once they are there, say you don't get any Kama Sankappa now, you don't get any Vyapada Sankappa, Vihinsa Sankappa now, any no ill thought, ill will or any of those. So do you need to again and again occupy your mind with loving kindness? Do you always want to occupy your mind with renunciative thoughts? Or do you want again and again to occupy your mind with compassionate thoughts? Or you need to do that purposely? Not necessary. So it's a kind of a opportunities, how to say. I mean, it's depending on the situation. We need to use it. So that's why in the Detaha Sutta, Buddha clearly mentioned, okay, I did that. I did the abandoning of the unwholesome thoughts. Yes. In order to do that, I have developed the wholesome thoughts. Now, once I have developed the wholesome thoughts, again and again thinking about that also has become a kind of a aberration to the mind, kind of a burden to the mind. So I kept the mind cool, kept the mind silent. And not only this sutta, the Dahavitaka Sutta, you can even refer Sakkapanya Sutta in the Digha Nikaya. So the god Sakka is asking the method, a strategy to abandon all the prapancha. And Buddha clearly mentioned, there you need to have a selective dealing with the feelings. See, there are pleasurable feelings which are producing further unwholesome thoughts, unwholesome qualities. And there are pleasurable feelings, they are not producing any unwholesome pleasurable thoughts, characteristics, rather they produce some wholesome characteristic. Now say for example, assume that you are watching a movie, interesting. I mean, you are being happy and they are playing, they are, doing all this and that, and you are quite happy and you become joyful. True, a lot of pleasure can arise. Say you are developing some meditation. So you feel blissful, you feel quite happy, elated, extremely happy, calm, serene, tranquil. This is also happiness, right? So which one is good, which one is better to continue? So the previous one is actually a samisa happiness, what you call the sensual happiness, right? So that is also available. It also produces some happiness. But second one is actually a niramisa happiness. It's an unworldly kind of happiness. You are not gaining through that, through your senses. So therefore, we need to recognize, okay, they are happiness, true. Both it produce happiness. But some is actually better to pursue. Another one is something to abandon. So therefore, Buddha say, okay, there are pleasures. So certain pleasures are not producing wholesome aspects in yourself, rather it might produce unwholesome aspects. Say while you are watching the movie, it is producing some happiness, true. But your mind further and further get attached with it. Sometimes you get angry and sometimes you get really happy and all that, and you further get attached and many thoughts are there, you feel crowded. So that is the consequences. But on the other hand, if you are getting some meditative happiness, then actually that happiness is more serene, calm, relaxed, and you feel comfortable. So that is more refined. So then we give more assurance or more acceptance, appreciation to this side, and we are developing this. And then later Buddha mentioned, okay, this also now have certain kind of pleasurable feelings which are producing wholesome aspects. That also has two categories, where one is with vitakka. That means your mind has dealing with certain amount of thinking. Another one is you are going through certain pleasant happiness, but no thinking. Between these two, which one is good? Pleasant, calm, relaxed, wholesome happiness with thoughts or without thoughts? Which one would you like? So this you can refer, very beautiful sutta, you can refer Sakkapanya Sutta in the Digha Nikaya. So Buddha say the second one, the one without thoughts, this is much sublime, this is much better. So then you are completely into the Nippapancha. No thoughts even, no vitakkas, you are completely relaxed, very happy, calm, contented, and mind also quiet. This is much better. So therefore, it is not that we are trying to abandon wholesomeness, rather. So Buddha say, okay, this is a better wholesome, some advanced level of wholesomeness. So Satipatthana practice is not taking you to a kind of a unwholesome state. Rather, Buddha said this is much advanced than the typical, mundane, wholesome, unwholesome. So this is the mundane kind of a wholesome and unwholesome. But Satipatthana is up even more than that. This further, we can say it is wholesome. So there are suttas telling, if something to be said as purely wholesome, that is for Satipatthanas. So like that, Buddha has mentioned. So don't be afraid thinking that, okay, I'm going to somewhere, I won't get enough, so I'm not getting enough kusala, I'm not getting enough wholesome, my account of wholesomeness might reduce. I won't get enough account balance to go through. So Satipatthana practice is not for me. So that's a wrong idea. So if you refer certain other suttas like Velama Sutta, Buddha say even a fraction of a second, if you are developing anicca sanya, that is millions times wholesome than even the other states. So Buddha comes from very beginning, giving dana to the Buddha, giving dana to the Sangha, giving dana to the Buddha and the Sangha, and then making a kuti for the Sangha, and further you are, say, you yourself going through the three refuge, the taking samadha, you observe the precepts. So all are much advanced, getting advanced and advanced. Later he mentioned, okay, you are developing samatha samadhi, so samatha meditation like metta. It's also further, very advanced. And then ultimately he end up with the vipassana. He say, okay, if one was even developing a fraction of a second about the anicca sanya, recognizing the impermanence, knowing that, seeing that is much advanced. So therefore, what we are talking here is, in a way, it's not the mundane kind of wholesome and unwholesome activities. Rather, we are getting to a much better scale. So that's why it is sometimes called as adhikusala. Or sometimes we call it as adhichitta, adhisila, adhichitta, adhipanya. It's not simple kusala, but rather we are now trying to go a little bit more than that.
Part 2 of that. Then comes to my mind Dhammavicaya Sambojjhangaya, which is one of the 37 mental factors of enlightenment. So, if we eradicate Dhamma thoughts too, now do we achieve Dhammavicaya Sambojjhangaya, which is one important factor out of the 37 mental factors?
Yeah, Dhammavicaya Sambojjhangaya is not that you are thinking about Dhamma. That you are, at the beginning you are learning, you are thinking, you are contemplating. That is also helpful. And that is also contributing to the Suttameya Jnana and then Chintameya Jnana. That is also actually contributing to some extent Dhammavicaya Sambojjhangaya. True. But how about the Bhavanameya Jnana? So in the Yoniso Manasikara. So there you are having a silent mind. So in the meditation, in the Vipassana practice, it is not that you are talking. It's not that you are thinking. Rather, you are keeping a silent mind, but quite inquiring mind, investigative mind, silent mind. Completely mind is in utter silence, but your quite penetrative wisdom is there. With such a wisdom, with such an attitude, you are investigating the phenomena. In order for you to investigate phenomena, do you really need to think? Not necessary. So that is the Dhammavicaya Sambojjhangaya we are talking there. Now you can refer Anapanasati Sutta. So the definition given for Dhammavicaya Sambojjhangaya is like this. So you first develop the Sati Sambojjhangaya. So Sati Sambojjhangaya you need to develop. So now you understand, okay, now the mindfulness is available. I'm maintaining my attention continuously in the present form and phenomena. Now I'm confident in that. So the Sati Sambojjhangaya is now ready. Now you can target the second one, Dhammavicaya Sambojjhangaya. So how Buddha defines it? Tata sato viharanto tang dhammang panyaya pavichinati pavicharati parivimansang apajjati. So that means while you are being fairly mindful, consistently mindful, And now you are observing that phenomena. Tang Dhammang means that particular phenomena available right now under the scrutiny. You are investigating that, carefully analyzing that, searching it, examining it, investigating it. So this is the Dhammavicaya Sambojjhanga. So then you are understanding its characteristics, how it is impermanent, how it is unsatisfactory, how non-governable it is. So these are the inherent characteristics to that phenomena. So by seeing it, by investigating it, you are developing the wisdom. So the wisdom aspect is the Dhammavicaya Sambojjhanga. So this wisdom is not you have gained from outside sources by mere learning or seeing, or rather listening, thinking, rather you have seen it. You are investigating it currently, in the present moment. You are investigating it thoroughly. So this is the Dhammavicaya Sambojjhanga we are talking. So therefore, at this level, it is not that through thinking you are gaining the wisdom, rather through careful investigation you are developing the wisdom. So the mind maybe is very silent. While thinking you can't do it. You need to have a silent mind in order for you to successfully do it. So we are talking different levels here. So therefore, if you think that in order to develop wisdom, we need to think, that is only has limited truth. You need to think, yes, but only at one level. But at another level, you don't need to think. Thinking could become a hindrance. Rather, your mind has to maintain a fair silence. In that silent background only you can carefully investigate. Then you can see them properly, thoroughly. So that is much better, much advanced wisdom we are talking then.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to clear my mind. Much merit to you, Bhante. Theruvan Saranai. Report number 3. Most Venerable Swamin Wahanse. With kindness to us, please explain Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana and Dhammanupassana with special focus on Anapanasati Bhavana.
So that you know that Anapanasati Sutta explains all this. So it's I'll just give you a brief explanation here. So Anapanasati Sutta is a very special one, very beautiful. It's a must for us to go through. And it's talking about 16 steps. The first 4 steps talking about the Kayanupassana, second on the Vedananupassana, the third quadrant talking about the Chittanupassana, the last quadrant talking about the Dhammanupassana. It's one basic understanding. So Anapanasati can be developed talking about the bodily phenomena. So you are paying attention to breathing, so that is physical. And you are developing that so that the, say, wisdom may also be developed. And as you are progressing, then you get on naturally to the Vedana, recognizing various feelings, recognizing various even perceptions. So then we are going through the Vedananupassana section. So that also then subsides. Vedana also very much like fades away. Then you start looking at the mind. Various thoughts are there and you are recognizing that. And slowly, you understand, okay, I have to free the mind. As we discussed maybe yesterday. You are freeing the mind, releasing the mind, not allowing it to attach with anything. So then we are getting to the last section of the Chittanupassana, Vimochayan Chittang Asasisamiti Sikkati. So you are meditating like you are releasing the mind. So whatever phenomena arising, you let it go. You are not dealing with it too hard. So you know they are coming and going. That's an inherent characteristic. I don't need to worry. I don't need to push them. Rather, let me keep the mind unattached. So they are coming and going. Another one coming and going. Another one coming and going. So you are, as much as possible, you are releasing things, abandoning things, relinquishing things. So then mind becomes slowly, further and further released, freed. And in order to facilitate this whole process, so you can get some benefit from the Dhammanupassana. That is Aniccanupassi, Viraganupassi, Nirodhanupassi, Patisagganupassi. So you can look at all bodily phenomena from the point of view of impermanence. You can look at all different bodily phenomena with the point of view of dispassion, with the point of view of cessation, and the point of view of relinquishment. Same thing can be done to the feelings. You can look at feelings as impermanent. You can maintain an attitude of dispassion to all the feelings. You can look at the cessation aspect, that means fading away aspect. That means the passing away side of the feelings. Nirodhanupassi. Then Patinissagganupassi. So that means by that time actually you have recognized the balanced state of mind, released state of mind, equanimous state of mind. That means anisita state of mind you have recognized. So now in the Patinissagganupassi, what you do is you are trying to maintain this unattached, unassociated, non-grasping state of mind more and more. But phenomena are coming, can't help. But you are abandoning them, you are relinquishing them, but navigating back, plunging back to this equanimity, plunging back to this unattached, non-grasping state of mind. So that is the Patinissagganupassi. So phenomena are coming, mind might try to attach to it, but you relinquish it, coming back to this release state, coming back to the non-grasping state of mind. So this also you can apply to Kayanupassana, Vedanaupassana, Chittanupassana. Actually, yesterday we had a session for SIBA students. You know SIBA campus in Kandy. So with SIBA campus and Satipasala and Nissarana, so they have started the SIBA diploma. So they requested me to conduct a session on Satipatthana. So yesterday we had the last session. So there are a very good series of questions were there. So even yesterday they actually somewhat asked this problem, this particular question with respect to Anapanasati and Dhammanupassana. So that series also very good actually. The students also fairly enthusiastic. One student was particularly enthusiastic, and she actually has prepared all the different questions, and it was quite successful. And a very good question, a series of questions were there. So one question is this. Even yesterday we discussed. So this Dhammanupassana section can be applied to Kayanupassana, Vedanaupassana, Chittanupassana, what is explained in the Anapanasati. So Dhammanupassana is nothing but here at this level, nothing but pure Vipassana. Yeah. That's all?
That's all, Bhante.
Yeah.
Bhante,
So
that is recorded? Is that SIBA?
Should be. Yeah, it's recorded. It's recorded. Should be
Nissarana?
available in the SIBA website.
Oh, okay.
I don't know yet the link. If I get to know that, probably they will inform me where they have put all the sermons, whatever our discussions there, and probably I'll share with you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, please.
Devante, I thought to ask this question after yesterday's Dhamma sermon actually, because I got to verify that if one becomes Arahat, what is the real meaning of continuing meditation?
Continuous meditation.
Meditation.
Continuous meditation.
Continuing meditation. I mean, practicing meditation.
Practicing meditation.
That's one. The other one is it a thoughtless kind of a status?
State. So typically, I mean, we can say like this. Now, Arhatta Pala Samadhi and the typical mundane way of Arahant's living are two different things. So you can refer, if we simply use the typical mundane way of how an Arahant moving through the life. So that is explained in the Sona Sutta, where he mentioned, Venerable Sona mentioned, Selo yatha eka gano vatena na samirati. Evang rupa rasa saddha gandha passacha kevala itta dhamma anittacha nappavedindi tadino. Titan chittang vipamuttang vayanchassanu passati. Understood? So what he mentioned is, he's giving a very beautiful simile there. He say, Selo yatha eka gano vatena na samirati. That means a huge rock, not being wavered, not being, disturbed by the wind. The wind may be really powerful, it may coming from different directions, but the rock, solid rock, It's very stable. Similarly, Rupa, Saddha, Rasa, Gandha, Passa, Dhamma, cha Kevala. So different kinds of, sense stimuli. It could be sights, it could be sounds, smells, tastes, tangibles, thoughts. Ittha Dhamma, Anittha cha. They can be likable ones, favorable ones, and can be very difficult ones. Unfavorable, drastic, very difficult ones also. Both sides are there. Ittha and Anittha. Ittha Dhamma, Anittha cha. Nappa Vedinti Tadino. So this Arhant is not wavered by any of that. All these are happening, right? You can see things, you can hear things, you can smell, taste, touch. Thoughts also can come. But his mind is unwavering, very stable. And Titan Chittang. So mind remains stable, very quiet, still. Titan Chittang, Vippamuttang, free from all the defilements. Even though these sense stimuli happens, no defilements are arising. Vippamuttang. Vayan Chassanupassati. And he can see how these phenomena come and go, come and go, come and go, come and go. Whatever phenomena, he can see, okay, it's coming, going, coming, going, coming, going. Nothing he attached with. He is not holding to it, any of these. He's living, he's going through the life. He's not in a samadhi, samadhi in the sense, arahattapala samadhi. Not in that. But he's navigating through the life. Titan chittang vippamuttang vayanchassānupassati. So this is one state. So that's a typical navigation of an arahant in the typical sensual world. And on the other hand, if we consider arahattapala samadhi, that is much advanced. So they are almost like, that's also a fair definition is there, one sutta called Ananda Sutta, one Jatila Bhikkhuni. One bhikkhuni actually, she's asking a question. Bhante, this, from Venerable Ananda, she's asking, Bhante, is there a samadhi like this? Na chabinato, na chapanato, na sasankara niggahya varitavato, vimuttatta tito, titatta santusito, santusitatta na paritassati. So she's asking, na chabinato. So there is no attraction to an object. Similarly, there is no repulsion. So mind is in an utter equilibrium. No attraction, no repulsion. Na chabinato, na chapanato. Na sasankara niggahya varitavato. And you are keeping the mind unattached, not through effort. So it is naturally like that. You don't need to control the mind. You don't need to hold it. It's not trying to go after it, or it's not trying to repulse. So if so, we need to put, effort. I have to look at it. I have to, very carefully. I have to maintain it. So I have to tell the fellow, don't go it, don't do it. I have to exert effort. So that is the sasankara niggahya varitavato. So you are putting a lot of intentional effort to maintain it. But here, na sasankara niggahya varitavato. So effortlessly the mind remains unattached, unattracted, and unrepulsed. Na sasankara niggahya varitavato. Vimuttatta tito. Completely liberated. Vimuttatta. Vimuttatta tito. Completely liberated, and mind has become completely stilled. Vimuttatta tito. Titatta santusito. And while being still, it is contented. Have nothing expecting. Vimuttatta tito, titatta santusito. Santusitatta na paritassati. There is no any agitation at all. Then she is asking, what is this? Have Buddha mentioned something like this? What is this kind of samadhi? And then Venerable Ananda say, this anya phala samadhi. Anya phala samadhi means arahatta phala samadhi. So this it's a maximum state of equilibrium in the mind. So there we can't say that he's looking at things and all that, but rather he's in a fairly serene state of mind. So it's completely free from all this. So his six senses are ceased like. So that is what we call salayatana nirodha. Salayatana nirodha. Where the salayatana, all the six senses are not operative like. They are not functioning like. So they have ceased. Doesn't mean he dead. He's not dead. So these salayatanas are not functioning in their, the typical mood. They are in a completely serene state. His mind has utterly come to the standstill position. So therefore, you can't maintain that while eating, right? While you are going through the village Pindapata. So that is the Sona Sutta. So while going through the village Pindapata, you can see things, hear things, but still you have some amount of calmness. No defilements. Still some amount of stillness is there. But that pristine state may be available at the Arhatapala Samadhi. So we need to further explore. Don't simply buy this. We need to further explore. So this is what through all the, going through various suttas, I understood, okay, this is a kind of a difference is there. So how an arahant typically navigate in the world in the sense that other mundane life, and how he is in a pristine form of Arhatapala Samadhi, there may be a kind of a difference. So Katakunda Jnananda Thero also has some similar explanation given in the Nibbana Suttas, Nivane Nivima Deshana. So there also he is coming up with some similar idea. Anyway, these things are therefore further for our investigation, because none of us are arahants. So we need to attain that and see whether our assumption is correct or not. So still, it's a kind of a how to say, approximation. So meditation. So he is enjoying it. That's why now, while being in the Arahantapala Samadhi, there's a utter silence, utter satisfaction, complete contentment. It's enjoyable. And it is also called Avitakka Samadhi. That's another answer that you are asking, are there any thoughts there, right? Now, one synonym given for Arhatapala Samadhi is Avitakka Samadhi. No thoughts at all. Avitakka. Avitakka means no thinking at all. Thinking has utterly ceased. So no operations, activities, aberrations in the mind. Mind has come to complete quietude. As the highest. And the Nirodha Samapatti may be even, more than that. Enough, no? So any more questions? Hopefully only these are the limits, yeah. Yeah. I don't think so. Because, these are all Niramisa, no? So even the jhanic practice is Niramisa. It is not that you are gaining through your senses. It is not something you are looking at something and gaining a pleasure. Rather, your eyes may be closed while you are in a jhana. So it's a Niramisa. So similarly, Arupa jhana, similarly. And even the Vipassana kind of practice, that's same. It is not the mundane sensory level operations, but rather it's a mindfulness based, concentration based, Vipassana based happiness we are talking here. So therefore, abandoning that is not the thing, rather it may be maturing towards the equanimity. That we can say like that. Say for example, even while someone is developing Vipassana, so at the beginning he may be going through a kind of a state, kind of a lot of happiness is there, a lot of joy is there. But as he is continuing the practice, now it may be evolving to a state where it's more contentment is there, some calmness is there, not much, fluctuations in the mind. The happiness even has certain amount of fluctuation. So similar to the Samatha Jhana. So the first jhana, yes, happy. But second, more concentration. Third, even the Vitakka, Vichara, Piti, all three abandoned. But more contented, right? More mature. So similar to the Vipassana also like that. So at the beginning you may have a lot of happiness, joy. But later as one is maturing, So one may be coming to more released, peaceful state of mind. Okay, if there is no more questions, then we'll wind up the session. So today also we have spent fair amount of time, and all these 3 days we have spent fair amount of time. And whatever the merits we have accumulated, we'll share with all the celestial beings, all the past away relatives, and we have 2 special reports to share merits. Dawal Dana offered by Lakshmi Lenage and Srirani Rajapaksha in memory of Chandra De Silva, MVS De Silva, Arya Vansa Rajapaksha, Sita Rajapaksha, Raja Vanaya, Donald Lienage, and family members, friends and pets who have passed away. And then with respect to the breakfast dana was offered by Devi and Dhammasri Jayavardhana to bestow merits on their departed parents and daughter. Also to wish good health and a speedy recovery to our fellow sister Neeta Dahanayaka, who is not well these days. So these are special offerings of merits to various relatives, various friends, and all these merits we wish also to help us to attain path fruition nibbana. And we will recite the traditional verses. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu sasanang. Akasattha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu mamparang. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, in order to observe Ajiva Attamaka Sila, you may recite Namo Tassa.